Hi there, it's Nikki here, and I am kicking off a new section or series of Lunch and Learns on this page. So I hope I've just missed them. I've missed doing them. I had a little break while we launched the foundation program, and we're in the middle of that now. So everyone's settled and getting on with the work and doing brilliantly. So I thought I'd reinstate the lunch and learns so that I'm continuing to give you some value week to week on things you might be struggling with as an NT. So today I am talking about discovery calls. Now, in our sales module, we talk about, how to make sales easy, because sales is one of the things that we often trip up over. We want to help people. That's what we're in. The business we're in is helping people and serving. And when we know how to do that. We know that we can do that with our eyes shut. But when we get to the money conversation, we can clam up and things can get very awkward, and then you can feel a bit, oh, I don't want to talk about money because I just want to help everybody for free. And, we need to talk about the money because we need to get paid our worth. We need to get the client committed financially and, energy wise. And to do that, we need to be charging what we're worth and charging enough to make it a viable business. So how do we sell without that awkward feeling? Well, there's lots of different ways of doing that, but one of the ways that we find the most effective to sell our packages is through discovery calls. And I see, a lot of nutritionists offering a free call here and there and everywhere, varying from 10 minutes to however long. But in my experience, the one that's, well, we've found a formula that really, really works, and we're probably converting at least 3 out of 5 people off our discovery calls. We want to do calls that. So first of all, why do you want to do a call? Well, first of all, you cannot convey the value of what we do from a website page or a landing page or anything where you're reading it, or even a blog. Or even a video, because you need to be in that one-to-one conversation for somebody to really get the feeling that you've listened, you've heard, you understand their pain, and you're the one that can help them fix that. All right, so the only way to do that, in my experience, is by talking to someone. It doesn't have to be on the phone, it can be in person, but these days it's going to be on the phone or on Zoom or whatever works for you. I tend to find phone works better. I don't know why, but I prefer to speak to people on the phone. So you need to convey the value, and then we, obviously do that by listening to people and seeing also whether you're the right person for them, because you may not be. And then we need to structure the call in a way that puts everybody at ease, but that makes you in control of it, and that gets you the end result, which is a decision. That's what you want. You want a yes or a no decision at the end of the day. So I'm going to talk you through how we structure our discovery calls, a few tips on that, because I go into this in more detail in the course, and we offer, I give everyone the script that we use to it, so you can actually have the script. But I haven't got time for that today. I'm going to give you some overview of how to conduct a call and what to do and what not to do. So a discovery call is not a consultation. It's not a mini consultation. It's not half an hour of advice. It's not let me see how I can help you on the phone. That is not what it is. You cannot give any advice on a discovery call or an initial call or whatever, because you don't have any of their information. You don't have their health history. You don't have a questionnaire. You don't know anything about them other than what they're telling you, and you know that we're not allowed to do that. So we cannot give any advice. So not even if it's general, don't do that, because it's not a consultation. It's a chance to see whether this person can and wants to work with you, and if you want to work with them too. So it's definitely a two-way process. It's not just you offering a service and then them deciding. You've got to decide as well whether you want to work with this person, because you're in control of your business. I like to think that, I tell people to be like Simon Cowell. You're auditioning them. So just backtrack a tiny bit. So discovery calls are for packages, really. So you can sell a one-off consultation off your website if you're doing that, but as I always recommend, you don't sell a one-off consultation ever. But if you're doing that and you like doing that and it works for you, great, you can do that off your website. But discovery calls are for higher priced packages. So anything above £500, £600, £700, something like that, because that's when you need to convey the value of it. So some rules about calls. For us, the 30-minute call works brilliantly. It's enough time to get enough information about that person that you know what to recommend, but it's not enough time for you to be resentful about doing it for free. 30 minutes or less, and be really strict about the timing. When I first started doing discovery calls, I'd be on for an hour and then they'd say, no, I can't afford it or whatever, decide not to work with me. And I'm like, oh my God, I've just spent a whole hour with this person. So don't do that, because the longer it creeps, the more resentful you're going to get if they say no. And you don't need an hour, to be honest. You're not giving any advice. You're just seeing if they're going to be, if you can help them. So the other thing to be very wary about and very strict about is that you are in control. You are in control of this conversation. If you let them take control, you're going to be on the phone forever. You've got to be very, give them the structure of the call, remind them that they've only got 30 minutes, and be really strict about pulling them back when they start to go off track. So we have a structure for our discovery calls. It pretty much runs like this. So we spend a bit of time, just very quick time at the beginning, building rapport. So that's just a little icebreaker or whatever. And then we tell them what's going to happen. And then we want to find out where they found out about us and why now might be the right time for them to get help with their symptoms. We want to find out about their struggle. So we need to ask them some questions about what their pain is, what are they struggling with, so that you can then work out what they need. We want to know how that's impacting them, what they've tried before, and then we want to say all that back to them. All of that shouldn't take more than about 15 minutes. So summarising back using their own language, 15 to 20 minutes maximum. And then we want to go on to the recommendation piece, and that can take sort of roughly we take about 5 minutes. We're saying, okay, from what you've told me today, this is what we'd recommend you do. And then there's a whole script associated with that I can't go into at the moment. And then at the end of that, we'd say to them, does that sound it could be helpful for you? And then you give them the cost, and then you ask them if they'd like to go ahead, literally. And it's very, very smooth. The transitions are smooth. There's no awkwardness. All you're doing is getting across the value of what we do. So that is pretty much it. How to run a discovery call. Half an hour. Don't do any assuming either. So you want to do a little bit of pre-qualification to make sure that they can actually, they're committed and they actually want to find out about working with you. They don't just want free advice. So you can do that if you've got a calendar booking system like I have, you can book me. There's Calendly, there's Acuity, there's lots of them. And you can create a booking form. So when someone books into your calendar, they can answer a few questions. One of my questions is always, obviously, what are you struggling with? So make sure they're in the right place. But also, I have several questions. And the last question is, are you able to financially invest in your health? So that will wheedle out anybody who hasn't got any money, because they're going to say no, or depends, or whatever. So at least you're going to be pre-qualifying some of the people that won't be able to afford your package. And then what else do you need? Oh yeah, and don't make any assumptions. So if you're talking to someone at the beginning and it sounds like they may have a job where they're not earning much money, or they don't even work, or they've just been made redundant, or lockdown has happened and they've lost their jobs or whatever, don't assume that they're not going to be able to afford to work with you, because I've done that in the past, and they've got a pot of savings that they were going to go on holiday with, or they've got access to money, or they can ask someone for money. So you never ever know how much money someone has available to them, or how much they're going to prioritise their health and spend that money on working with you rather than a holiday or something else. So I made the mistake often in the beginning of assuming that someone wasn't going to be able to afford it, and kind of like writing them off almost, in terms of, I wasn't really present on the call. But I've learnt not to do that anymore, because it always surprises you. So don't assume anything about anyone. Never take it personally if they say no. They're just not in the right place, or they're not ready to work with you. And they may be ready at another time, they may not, but it's never about you. Don't ever feel like you did something wrong, or they rejected you, or anything personal like that. It's never about you. It's always about where they are in their journey, or what they're needing at that time, and maybe they're not your ideal client as well. So I just wanted to jump in and give you some tips on discovery calls. They are the most effective way to engage with new clients. because of that trust factor, that the fact, and often, you know, in those 30 minutes, it may be the first time that they've ever been heard properly. And that can go a long, long way when some, you know, to build that trust factor of wanting to work with you. So I hope that's been helpful, and I will see you all next time.